Welcome back for more speed skating racing action inside the Calgary Olympic Oval. Gavin Day and Leo Laundrie alongside me. Just about to get underway for the 1500 meter Ladies Canada Cup number 2 event. Once again, we'll see a lot of action, Leo, with quads going and paying attention to some organized chaos on the ice.
Absolutely. 12 quads of ladies coming up. That is 24 pairs. You heard that right? 24 pairs. That means 2 pairs per quartet. 4 skaters on the ice at the same time. One starting about 15 seconds behind the other one. Keep an eye on those armbands so you can know who's in what pair and who's supposed to be in what lane.
Hopefully they can make it easy for us and not have any sort of confusion and it all sorts itself out.
I don't envy the referees.
This must be, when they're quads, that must be the toughest job they can have, is on these sorts of days.
I think so, to keep track of who's supposed to be where and whether the skaters are in the right lane. The lap counter also has a tough job on these days.
First race is underway. First pair, Alexa Scott from Manitoba and Veronique Derry. Alexa Scott was 5th at the Canada Cup in this event last month in Quebec City.
So, Véronique Derry, elle chasse un temps personnel de 2:04:06. See if she can beat that. Alexa Scott chasing personal best of 2:03:45, so it should be a close race.
Second pair underway, Connie Capac and Sarah Spence.
If you're just tuning in to this 1500 meter race, it is a 3 3/4 lap race, meaning the skaters start on the backstretch, do 1 corner, and then 3 laps.
Spence in the second pair. She was 5th in the 500 meters earlier this morning.
Look at that on the outer lane. That's Sarah Spence taking a big lead on her pair. Went way over the top on that backstretch and she moved into the inner lane.
Coming up to get her lap time. She goes 30.81, 32.25 the other lap time there. But Spence looking like she's putting in a good one so far.
As they come around, 1 lap remaining. Bell lap for our first pair. Derry still holding a lead, 32-34, 32-6 for Scott.
Very close lap times, very close overall times between these two. This one's going to be a fun finish. Now about 200 meters to go as Capac and Spence both get the bell. But first up, Scott and Derry looking like it is going to be rounding into the inner lane. Derry with the lead, with a little bit of an advantage on Scott. Looks like she's going to take this pair coming to the line. Derry clocks a time, 2:05:09, 2:05:99 for Scott.
Capac and Spence now on their final corner. And it's Sarah Spence holding a big lead here into the final stretch. Capac doing her best to catch up. As Spence is fading, but Spence will hold on her final time. 2:09:28, 2:10:04 for Capac.
So there we go. We saw Spence come in 5th in the 500 meters, goes out fast here in the 15, and then sort of fades at the end a little bit. So this is what, as you mentioned, the event where the sprinters go out and then try to hang on, and the longer distance one ease their way into it and try to likely get off to a slow start, but then rally near the end.
Absolutely, 1500 meter, pure crossover distance between those long distance skaters, those sprinters. Middle distance race makes it very exciting because you always get a very big field. That's the case here today with nearly 50 women racing this Canada Cup number 2 as our second quartet is underway. This is Hee-Wan Son in the inner lane and Gabrielle Sanson in the outer. Expect a fast opener from both skaters.
Sanson 14th in the Canada Cup in this event in Quebec City. She was 9th in the 500 meters earlier this morning. Second pair also underway, Olivia Scott, 11th at last month's Canada Cup, and Danielle Walsh from Alberta also in that pair. And they come and get their first 300 meters of the four skaters. The fastest opener 300, Gabrielle Sanson, 27.91.
It's a very quick opener from Gabrielle Sanson. That was good for fourth through the first 300 meters. And we've got a crossover issue on that backstretch. Danielle Walsh, who was in the outer lane, had to stand up and give way to Olivia Scott, who was in the inner. That may result in a disqualification from Olivia Scott. We'll have to see what the referees say. The skater in the outer lane has the right of way.
Sanson still coming up to the bell lap with the lead in her pair over Son. There is the bell.
Sanson's lap time 34.0, 35.78 for Hee-Won Son. So Gabrielle Sanson really holding on to her advantage over her pair.
The grimaces begin.
She's chasing fourth place. She can hang on this last corner. As Scott and Walsh now on their last lap.
Sanson coming to the line inside 50 meters, chasing that time of K-Pack. She moves ahead of it, 2:09.98. Son 2:14.93. And these two skaters, they've been putting in some good lap times. Look at that last lap, 32s coming to the line. Walsh 2:07.04. She goes to third. Olivia Scott 35.01. Final time 2:08.59. She moves up into fourth place.
Great finish from Danielle Walsh. She moved up to third place, just missing her personal best.
Third heat set to go. First pair has Gabrielle Jelinek and Brooklyn McDougall, Quebec and Alberta skaters respectively. Second pair will have Caroline Gingras, another Quebec skater, and Jasmine Chase from Ontario.
La première paire est partie, un bon départ. In the inner lane, Gabrielle Jelinek. Outer lane, Brooklyn McDougall. Both skaters rocketing through the first 100 meters. It looks like it's McDougall in the outer lane with a slight lead, but it will be close through 300 meters.
Second pair underway. Gingras, 8th in the Canada Cup last month in Quebec City, going up against Jasmine Chase from Ontario. Look at those fast opening times.
Both skaters with the two fastest opening times in that first pair. So let's see if they can hang on through the rest of the race. It will be an interesting finish. That's what makes these 1,500 meter races exciting. Not enough to have a fast opener, you have to have fast remaining laps as our second pair is through their first 300.
Still negative splits. Jelinek and McDougall, 2 laps to go, just over 30 seconds lap time, almost identical lap times between these two. They've hung on through a first 400 meters. There's still a ways to go as the second pair comes up to get their 700 meter splits.
So that first Jelinek, McDougall neck and neck. McDougall starting to put it to her pair. Swinging one arm, looking strong with 1 lap remaining. Brooklyn McDougall, she kept that split time under a 2-second drop-off. Great lap time for Brooklyn McDougall. She will go over the top of her pair.
Jelinek fading a little bit, but it looks like McDougall is powering it on. 31.97 that last lap. She has a bit of room to finish ahead on top spot.
Un tour à faire pour Caroline Gingras et Jasmine Chase. C'est Gingras qui mène par 2 secondes avec un tour à faire.
McDougall's time at the line. She takes first place for now. 2:04.23, 2:07.48 for Jelinek.
Big personal best for Brooklyn McDougall. 3 seconds faster than she's ever gone before.
Final pairs coming through. Gingras in front, Jasmine Chase. Less than 100 meters to go. Finishing strong, putting in a time at the line of 2:09.23, 2:10.94 for Chase.
Alors, Jelinek et McDougall patinent des temps personnels, personal records for both skaters. Great races. And so after our third quartet, we have a new leaderboard. Brooklyn McDougall leading the way now. Time to beat 2:04.23. Véronique Derry right behind her. Alexis Scott rounding off the top three.
Just over 0.8 of a second in first place. Then Scott another 0.9 down. There's a whistle off the line.
Looks like we have a false start. Assistant starter raising the red flag. So that was Danielle Dumuchel from New Brunswick in the outer lane, jumping the gun. And so Hagen and Dumuchel will line up for a second attempt. Starting right behind them, du Québec, Rose La Liberté Roy, and from Saskatchewan, Olivia Moyes.
And this time they do get away cleanly. That's Hagen on the inner, Dumuchel on the outer.
Clean start through the first 100 meters.
Dumuchel 17th in the 500 meters earlier this morning.
These skaters trying to get up to speed. Very important in the 1500 meters that the skaters leave nothing out there in that first 300. The typical strategy in the 1500 meter race is to take it out hard, get up to top speed at the end of 300 meters, and then over the next two laps, look for easy speed. The skaters will skate about 95% effort to leave just enough in the tank for that last lap. So look for smooth skating, focus on their faces as they come through the early laps of this race. Every little bit of technical prowess will matter at the beginning of this race, save enough energy for the end.
There's our front pair, Hagen and Dumuchel, coming up to get the bell lap, rounding the corner. Fastest time of all four is Rose La Liberté Roy right now. Lap time low 32s, but Dumuchel, look at her lap time, just a little bit lower in the 32 seconds. And there is the bell lap coming up. Dumuchel, 1:34.73, 1:37.10 for Hagen, inside 400 meters to go. Check the lap time for La Liberté Roy, see if she's been able to stem the slow bleed of energy and time. 34.38, just dropped a little bit of time there.
So she's hanging on to the lead in this quartet, but Danielle Dumuchel coming on strong as she is now in the final stretch. Danielle Dumuchel to the finish line. Her final time, 2:10.31. It's good for 11th, 2:12.12 for Kirsten Hagen. Let's see if La Liberté Roy has an answer in this last lap. La Liberté Roy.
Here comes Moyes, trying to close it down within the final few meters. Not going to take it. 2:11.20, La Liberté Roy. 2:11.92. Good last lap for Moyes there to close that gap.
And so we now move on to the next quartet. This is Amanda Mitchell from BC in the inner lane, et Laurence Paquet du Québec à l'extérieur.
Paquet 15th in the Canada Cup in Quebec City last month. Going as got the mask on, full face.
It's a habit a lot of skaters who train in more temperate climates will adopt when they move to Calgary. The air here is very dry, And so sometimes wearing a mask over their mouths can help make sure that the air they're breathing deep into their lungs is moist and doesn't induce coughing fits. There's
Opener 28-4, 129-6-3 for Mitchell.
If you hung around a group of speed skaters, you would think they were all sick. But often they have what we call the 1,500-meter hack, which is this weird coughing fit you get after sucking in so much dry air over the course of this 2-minute race.
Grenier out in front of their pair after 300 meters ahead of Weeb. Mitchell and Paquette through 700 meters. Bit of a lead now for Paquette. Lap time 32.68. Second pair coming through. Check what Grenier and Weeb are able to do through their first 400-meter time. 32.21 lap time for Grenier. 32.98 for Weeb.
So a close race here amongst all four skaters in this quartet. 101s and 102s through 700 meters. Let's see who's pulling ahead. C'est Laurence Paquet qui mène Amanda Mitchell avec un tour à faire. So Laurence Paquet taking it to her pair, and she's going to get a slight draft on this backstretch with half a lap to go. Grenier and Weeb with one to go now.
Both arms down for that entire backstretch for Mitchell. Pushing it on to the line. Paquette's going to get her on the inside.
The catch-22 sometimes to swing both arms. At times it can disturb your technique, but it's working for Amanda Mitchell as she came back on her pair and took that race, or nearly took that race, 200 separating them at the line. Proche course.
And Grenier and Weeb, this one's going to be Grenier's race. 2:10.27, the fastest of all four of these skaters. 2:13.48 for Weeb. So we're looking at Mitchell. She had her arms down on the back stretch, and she just continued that on for about 300 meters. When do you sort of decide to go two down, one down, no arms down? What's the decision making?
It certainly depends on the skater, but generally in the 1,500 meters, skaters will race two arms at the very beginning when they're trying to get up to speed, one arm through the middle portion of the race as they try and maintain speed without wasting too much energy, and then desperate times call for desperate measures. So in the last lap, swing everything you have to get across the line. As our next pair is underway, this is Ashley Hanna in the inner lane.
Second pair on the way, Cassidy Peterson and Jenna Mirth, both from Alberta going.
And that first pair, it's Sierra Johnson in the outer lane, really taking it to her pair through 300 meters. Opening split time, 28.93. Very quick. See if she can hang on to that as she goes over the top of her pair. So skaters in the outer lane really opening fast here as Jenna Mirth takes the opener. Her opening split, 29.2.
Now in a 1,500 meters, like we asked you in the 500, in a 1,500 meters, can you hear a coach a little bit more giving you any sort of advice?
Absolutely. You would look to the coach every lap. They often give lap times in the 1,500 meter. So they tell the skater, okay, how fast was their previous lap? The skater then knows, okay, I'm on pace, I'm off pace. Do I have to pick it up? Do I have to slow down? But generally, coaches try and keep their feedback to 1 or 2 words, easily digestible, small sentences.
Coming up to get the bell now, it's Sierra Johnson in front with a good lead, 34.42 lap time. Ashley Hanna, 34.97, so less difference in their lap times this time around than before. So it should show maybe Sierra Johnson slowing a little bit as we come near the end.
Absolutely. Johnson has carved out a 4-second lead, though. It'll be hard for Hanna to make that up as we come around the final corner. Sierra Johnson's chasing Personal best of 2:11. And she's on pace right now as she comes to the line. It's going to be close. Her final time, 2:11.19. That's a personal best for Sierra Johnson.
Ashley Hanna crosses the line, 2:16.17.
Just shy of her PB. Second pair coming through.
Peterson's been putting up some faster lap times. She comes to the line, 7th fastest time overall, 2:09.12. Mirth, 2:12.98.
That's a huge race for Cassidy Peterson. 6-second personal best. So strong start, strong finish for Peterson as she moves all the way up to 7th on the leaderboard, vaulting ahead of her pairs.
7th heat coming up, Renee Kalkman and Kennedy Charles in the first pair. Kalkman from BC, Charles from Manitoba. And then the second pair, Annika Marshall and Anna Bourgeois from Saskatchewan and Alberta, respectively. And it is, in the end, just the one skater.
So this is in the outer lane, Kennedy Charles. She has nearly 4 laps to go on her own in this 1,500 meter race.
Second pair off cleanly.
This is Marshall and Bourgeois through the first 100 meters.
First 300 for Kennedy Charles, 31.3. It's the 24th fastest time through that time check. And then the actual pair, the one pair in this quad coming up, Annika Marshall, Anna Bourgeois to get their first 300 meter split. 29 even for Bourgeois, 30.07 for Marshall.
Kennedy Charles chasing a personal best of 2:14.5. So in order to skate that time, she'll be looking to average 29.0 lap times, maybe a little bit quicker than that.
Charles 37th in the 500 meters this morning. Bourgeois still leading her pair coming through. 2 laps to go, 32.15 lap time. 33.62 for Marshall.
Charles will be chasing 35.0 lap times. So far she is on pace. Let's see if she can keep these next few laps down.
Charles on her own since the beginning.
1 lap remaining. Bell lap for Kennedy Charles. Lap time 36.44. She has to bring this next time down if she wants to come close to her personal best.
Bourgeois slowing down a little bit there. Lap time 35.26, 36 even for Marshall. Still a good couple seconds in front.
So Marshall starting to gain ground, but does she have enough ice left to catch her pair as Kennedy Charles comes down into the finishing stretch? Her final time, 2:19.06.
Bourgeois is going to win her pair. It's just a matter of time. 2 arms going. Grimace on her face at the line. 2:14.43. Marshall crosses 2:18.46.
That is a personal best for Anna Bourgeois. So great skate for Anna Bourgeois, just beating her PB by about a second. Some strong finish for the second pair of that quartet. As we move on to the next 2 pairs. Pair 15, Emma Jabra in the inner lane, Jessica Conrad in the outer. Following up behind them will be Emma Stevens and Lily Weidman.
Jabra 46th in the 500 meters this morning. Clean start in this one. Manitoba and Alberta skaters. Second one's underway. Stevens and Weidman are off as well, trying to chase them down.
This is a well-matched quartet. All 4 skaters personal bests in the 2:17 to 2:19 range. So expect them to duke it out here.
Javra 30.71, first 300 meters. Conrad 32.3. So there's a little bit of a gap, but we'll see what unfolds over the next 3 laps. As one might fade, one might grow stronger. There's a 30-second even lap time from Weidman, 30.98 300 meters for Emma Stevens.
So Javra really opening quick. Stevens keeping pace with her. Weidman as well. So Conrad has a bit of ground to make up through the latter portion of this race.
Pretty even lap times there between the two, both just around 34.5 seconds. 106.84, a little over a second and a half ahead of Javra is, behind Javra is Conrad.
So it should make for an interesting finish.
Weidman, 34-second lap time, is putting in the fastest of this quad so far, 1:04, even through 700 meters. Coming up to get the bell lap, 2 skaters, Javra and Conrad. Looks like the gap's closed up a little bit. Just 0.04 of a second separating them.
Here comes Jessica Conrad. She gained nearly a second and a half on that last race, that last lap, as she crosses over behind her pair, and she has taken over the lead in the first pair of this quartet. As Conrad and Weidman both on pace for personal bests if they keep this up. Here comes Jessica Conrad.
She's going to take the pair. It's just a matter of time. 2:17.53.
Just shy of her personal best. 2:20.85 for Javra.
Let's see what Weidman's got. She's had a good couple laps maintaining her similar lap times. Now coming up to the line at 1,500 meters. She crosses 2:17.01.
That's a 1 second personal best for Lily Weidman, so strong finish for this young skater from Ontario.
Stevens, 2:23.18.
So we now move on to the next quartet. This race will feature Vanessa Coutu from Saskatchewan in the inner, Una Lovell from BC in the outer. Starting a half lap behind them, Zuzana Nedeljakova from Alberta in the inner, Laura Hall from BC in the outer. Reminder to keep an eye on those armbands. Helps you figure out who's in what lane.
Lovell was 15th in the 500 meters this morning. Coutu 28th. See now where their specialties lie. If one's more of a sprinter and one maybe more middle distance.
So as the skaters come around, they will have 3 laps to go. This 1,500 meter race.
Nedeljakova and Hall both off cleanly. 300 meter splits just about to come up for the two. 29.61 and 29.42, so just 1/1800ths of a second separate these two, Coutu and Lovell. Lovell just with a slight lead right now.
So Nedeljakova had a very quick 500 meter. She was right up there on pace with Lily Weidman, 27th this morning in the 500. So we'll see if she can hang on in this longer race as Laura Hall trying to keep pace.
3 of them very similar times. I guess we just now get to see how the chips will fall and who can stem the bleeding the slowest and hang on for as long as they can.
Absolutely, 1,500 meter, the most painful, arguably most difficult race in long track speed skating.
Coming up 700 meters, Nedeljakova 1:03.81 so far after 700 meters, the fastest of this quad right now.
Laura Hall comes through her lap time, 35.91.
2 skaters coming up to get the bell. Una Lovell of BC, Vanessa Coutu of Saskatchewan. 37.28 lap time, 39.22 from Coutu. It's just Nedeljakova is going to be coming around in just a moment. She's put up some decent enough lap times. There's her bell lap coming up.
See if she can hang on at the end of this race. We know she's a quick sprinter. Does she have the legs? So Kutsu and Lovell just off pace of their personal best as they come in to the finishing straight. Kutsu will finish up a final time of 2:20.43, just shy of her PB. Lovell finishes the time of 2:27.29.
Right behind them, Nedeljkova. Gaps closed. Hall's closed it up a little bit as we've gotten to the line. Nedeljkova crosses 2:20.78. 2:23.43 for Hall. So Nedeljkova started quickly, faded a little bit near the end.
Nedeljkova nearly equaling her personal best. Only 800ths off, so very good race for her. You always want a personal best, but the next best thing is to nearly match it. It's always a little discouraging to miss it by a few seconds.
10th heat set to go. Braun versus Brunn. Hannah Brunn on the inner from BC, and also from BC, Brooke Braun. So it's going to be a bit of a tongue twister. And the other pair coming up behind them, Yasmin Uden and Elliot Gana from Manitoba. And Braun v. Brunn is underway cleanly.
So Braun and Brunn will both be looking to crack 2:20. If they want to do that, they will have to average faster than 36.8. So look for mid 36s or faster average lap times.
Through 300 meters, there you go. 29.67 for Brunn, 30.38 for Braun.
Our second pair is underway now as well. Uden and Ganas, and Ganas has the lead, just slipping under 30 seconds on that opener. Come around, 3 laps remaining for that second pair. 2 to go for our first pair as they come through. Who has the lead? Looks like it's Brunn with a slight lead through 700 meters. She's still on pace for that PB. She'll have to keep this next lap under 36 if she hopes to get it.
Also crossing 700 meters, Gana, 34.69, lap time 36.01 for Uden. So Gana coming into this race a little bit, keeping a solid lap time from the looks of things. Very close race in the Battle of BC, coming up to get the bell lap. Brunn v. Braun. Check the lap times here. 37.36, 38.54. Braun is eking it out a little bit, just over half a second advantage now.
So both skaters just falling off the required pace. But still on a close race. So we had a slight issue on that crossover. Negotiated well by both athletes. Brunn just letting up enough to let the skater in the outer lane past her.
Ganas 37.76 with 1 lap to go. 39.36 last lap for Uden. And coming up to the line, it's going to be Brooke Braun who takes this pair.
Staying low and strong as she crosses the line.
39.87 lap time overall. 2:22.32, 2:24.64 for Brunn.
So we have a look at the second pair now in their final corner.
Gonna be Uden.
So Uden making up ground. Well, it looks like Ganas is not finishing. So off camera, there may have been a fall or something we missed, as Yasmin Uden will finish up with a 2:27.08. Elliot Ganas, DNF, did not finish.
11th quartet still to go. Just a couple more here. Molly Johnson on the inner from Alberta, taking on Rachel Freitag from Ontario. And not far behind them would be Victoria Goplin and Shruti Kotwal from India.
Looks like we are ready to go. Johnson and Freitag off the line. So Molly Johnson chasing a 2:24.5. Skate that time, she will need to average 38 or so. 38 seconds per lap is what she's aiming for.
Looks like a pretty even 300 meters overall. Second pair underway. Molly Johnson and Rachel Freitag leading the way through 300 meters. 31.5, 32.4, just 900ths separating these two. Johnson with the slight disadvantage on Freitag. Second pair coming through Goplin and Cotwall. Goplin's going to eke out a little bit of an advantage here after 300 meters with 3 laps to go. 29.04 lap time, 29.67. So they're
very quick opener there from Victoria Goplin in the inner lane. 29.0. See if she can hang on to that pace through the rest of the race.
700 meter split. Freitag 34.41 lap time. It's pulled out about a second advantage on Johnson.
Freitag in the outer lane. Really taking it to her pair as Goplin continues to hold the lead. 33.47 her lap time.
Cotwall 33.7, also not far off the second fastest lap time here of the quad we've seen.
So Victoria Goplin punching above her weight. Let's see if she can maintain this pace. She is currently on track for a big PB. 2:25 is her previous time to beat.
Bell lap for Johnson and Freitag. Identical lap times, so still about a second's difference between the two of them with 400 meters to go. Goplin and Cotwall both coming up to get the bell. 37.63 lap time for Goplin, so she's dropped off a little bit there.
Watch out for Johnson in the outer lane. She's coming on strong. It could be an interesting finish as they come around. 100 meters to go. Johnson chasing Freitag to the line. Freitag will take it. 2:19.79. That's a big personal best for her. Molly Johnson finishing up with a 2:20.28.
Goplin's going to take the second pair. 2:19.05. Cotwall 2:22.86.
So Johnson, Freitag, and Goplin all skating the fastest races they've ever performed.
Coming up, the final quartet is actually a trio. The first one is a pair, Sophie Pett from Alberta, and then Brianne Shipowink from Saskatchewan, and then behind them will be Alexa Aneka. Just one skater in that duo there, so all by herself.
Alexa Aneka, a new skater to the Canada Cup circuit. It's her first year racing at this level. Fantastic opportunity to gain experience and race some of the best and fastest speed skaters in the country.
Pett and Shipowink, everybody's away cleanly, coming up for 300 meters. A very even opening first 300 for these two. Aneka is underway as well.
So Brianne Sipowink chasing a personal best of 2:28.6. Keep an eye on those lap times. She's going to look to keep those under 39s.
Opening 300 pretty even, 3/10 apart between Pett and Shipowink. Aneka comes through with a 31 even just about, all within sort of a second of each other there through 300 meters.
So all three skaters definitely on pace as Pett really taking a big lead over Sipowink.
Let's see, 700 meters, 34.98 lap time for Pett, 37.14 for Sipowink. So big difference on that lap time, almost just over 2 seconds difference between the two. Aneka coming through, she'll get her split time at 700 meters. It comes through 34.25 lap time, so decent one from her.
A great lap time for Alexa Aneka. She's keeping pace with Sophie Pett, on pace for a monster time.
All by herself coming up to get the bell lap. Sophie Pett, Sipowink. Looks like the the matches have all been burned a little early, but here comes Pet, 37.96 lap time. Sipoink comes through her lap time, 41.27. Aneka is not far behind to get the bell lap on her own.
Aneka looking strong with 400 meters to go, 35.96. She's leading Sophie Pett in this quad. Alexa Aneka on pace right now for a sub 220 time.
Now she has the little rabbit, so to speak, to chase down in Brianne Sipoink. Aneka, something to chase after, try to close down before the finish line. It's going to be Pett coming to take their pair in the 1500. Lap time 36.98, full time, total time 222.80. And Aneka's going to pass Sipoink. Little extra motivation. Aneka 37.32, lap time 2:18.54, 2:33.78 for Sipoink. So, what do you think of that one? The last couple laps there for Alexa Aneka, chasing her down coming into that race.
That was an amazing race from Alexa Aneka. Huge personal best. Sophie Pett also skating a personal best. Now, not often do you get the chance to skate a nearly 12-second personal best. Sorry, 10-second personal best. Very impressive in our final race as we look over the leaderboard.
Brooklyn McDougall takes it from Alberta, 2:04.23. Veronique Derry from Quebec, 2:05.09 coming in third. Manitoba's Alexa Scott, 2:05.99. So, Leo, people come back later on tonight. What are they going to be seeing? Something pretty exciting.
Coming up later on this evening at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, the Canadian Championships and Olympic selection competition for the ladies 3,000 meter and men's 5,000 meter. A chance to watch the best skaters in Canada, let alone the world, race over those two distances. The men's 5,000 meter, we will see world record holder Ted Jan Blumen race. Always a treat to watch him race. Jordan Belchos, Denny Morrison, Benjamin Donnelly, all big names coming up in the men's competition. In the women's competition, person to beat is Ivani Blondet, World Cup medalist in this event, potential Olympic medal threat. Other big names, Isabel Weidman, Brianne Tutt, Josie Morrison, among others. So tune back in at 5 p.m. for some once in a cycle. Once every 4 years you get to watch this level of racing, Olympic trials.
It's what 4 years is building towards for a number of these skaters. As Leo mentioned, we'll be back at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. That's 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. We'll be happy enough to guide you through that, so make sure you follow along. Join us later back at the Calgary Oval. But for now, thanks for watching, everyone.